What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope all's good wherever you are. In this video, we got Michael Knowles debating a student at a Young America event. Let's get into it.
Do you believe that organ donation should be mandatory?
I do not.
You do not. Okay, so if you believe that even a dead person has the right to bodily autonomy, even if that dead person's organs could save up to 8 lives, and yet you also believe that women should be legally mandated to sacrifice their bodily autonomy in order to save the life of a fetus, by your own logic, a corpse has more right to bodily autonomy than a living, breathing woman.
Well, you imposed upon me a liberal view that I do not hold, which is that my views of abortion come from some sense of bodily autonomy. I'm not a huge autonomy guy to begin with. I don't think that I own my body. I think my body is sort of a gift, and I have obligations to my creator. The reason that I don't support mandatory organ donation is not because of some liberal conception of autonomy or something. It's because that's not what your organs are for. Your organs are for you. Your lungs are to bring oxygen to your blood. Your heart is to pump blood around your body. Your liver is to take care of what I will probably do later on at the bar after this speech, and so on and so forth. My organs are not for you. Your organs are not for me. So you can give an organ donation, and that can be a lovely thing to do, but you aren't obligated for it because things are known largely by what they are for.
Okay. It sounded like you were just going to be anti-organ donation for a second. I was like, that's weird.
No. But I am against, going in and stealing people's organs. I think that would be quite wrong.
Stealing from a person who isn't alive, which gives them
I think
right,
desecrating bodies is pretty bad,
right
or like digging up graves is bad too, yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you don't believe that withholding resources like life-saving organs, which you would die without if you have organ failure, if you don't believe that withholding resources like that means that you're killing a person, would you be pro cutting the umbilical cord rather than removing a fetus so that the fetus would no longer be able to grow without the nutrients it needs?
It's wild to me that there's a group of people out there that are so upset that another group of people is not for ending human life. It baffles me to this day. I don't get it. And this is a wild comparison, in my opinion, because your organs are your organs. The life inside of you is not your life. It's in there for protection. It's crazy that in 2024, the baby's inside the mother, right? To be protected. It's supposed to be a safe place, but today, that is one of the most unsafe places for a child to be is inside the mother. Now, just to talk about organ donation for a quick second, I'm an organ donor, but I don't think it should be mandatory for anybody to do that if they don't want to. Those organs are yours. And correct me if I'm wrong, but for religious purposes, some people would not want to have their body dismembered or have their organs taken out. Let's get back to the video.
I think it would be wrong for a mother to kill her child. So I don't view my organs, say, as resources, as you've put it, in a kind of materialist liberal way. I kind of think of them as my organs, and I think of my body as my body, and I think of me as a person, not just a big sack of flesh that can be chopped up for the pleasure of some liberal technocrat. Call me old-fashioned, I guess. But then you turn to this example and you say, well, okay, what about cutting the umbilical cord eventually you do cut the umbilical cord when the baby comes out, but what about cutting the umbilical cord or otherwise killing the baby? I think that would be quite wrong to do, because your baby is not for your killing. Your baby is not justifying some kind of murder. That was the topic of our discussion tonight. And furthermore, a woman's womb, which is another organ that you haven't brought up, has a purpose too. And the purpose of the woman's womb is to grow a baby. And the baby is not just a clump of cells or a parasite or any other dehumanizing way that the liberals talk about it. The baby is your baby. And when mothers kill their babies, that's contrary to reason and contrary to nature.
So back to what I was saying, you love doing this thing where you go off about some nonsense that isn't what the original question was about.
Logic, yes, yeah, I know. I do occasionally.
Logic
apply that.
Entirely unrelated to what I was saying in the first place. But
what were you saying? Perhaps I misunderstood. I thought I understood.
You misunderstood. So withholding resources.
Right. Yeah, I suppose
without which
I just don't.
someone will die.
Yeah,
When
I
you
suppose
have organ failure, not having an organ donor kills you. Surprise. So withholding resources from them, that isn't killing, that isn't wrong. But withholding resources from a growing fetus, somehow that's different. And the way
as
that
I
you
tried to
make that leap, so I'm getting confused there.
You guys let me know if I'm right or wrong, but it seems like a wild comparison to me. If you're new to the channel, I'll let you know my stance on this. My stance is this. It is always wrong to intentionally or directly kill an innocent, defenseless human being. Now, I want to take the really extreme cases off the table here, because if you're listening to this and you had a 13-year-old daughter who was the victim of rape, look, listen, I would never want to be in that position. I don't know what I would do. So let's take the less than 1%, less than 0.5% of the cases off the table here. When she's talking about your organs, especially once you've passed away, you've already passed away. But they are indeed your organs. If you want to give them when you're alive too, they're your organs. They belong to your body. You have a mother that needs a kidney, you want to give it to her if you're a match? Hey, give her. But the unborn child, the unborn human, is at a stage of life. Yes, it's not fully grown yet, but it is living. Things in life are either alive, dead, or I guess you would say inanimate. And the baby inside of you, or fetus, whatever you want to call it, is definitely not dead and is definitely not inanimate. It is growing. It is at a very early stage of life, but it is at a stage of life nonetheless. Let's get back to it.
You are getting confused. As I tried to explain, you are beginning with a premise that all of our organs are just undifferentiated resources to which any of us might be entitled. And that's a novel view. It's a view held by, I guess, some rather extreme liberals or materialists, but it's not a view held by me. I don't think that it's all just undifferentiated flesh. I think that things like organs have both form and matter. So there's the matter, there's the flesh, there's the stuff, but then there's the form, which tells you about what that thing is. And so my liver might look a lot like your liver, but they're different livers. One's mine, for instance, and one is yours. So you don't have a right to mine, and I don't have a right to yours, because your liver is for you, and my liver is for me. And we all know this, and we all act that way. That's why you're not coming up here and attacking me and ripping my kidneys out and selling it on a market in Wuhan or something like that. But we pretend that we don't believe these things because it helps to advance an argument which is totally indefensible and unnatural, namely that we ought to kill a baby or something like that.
So your organs are for you and you alone. You get to decide what to do with them. But a woman doesn't get that choice about her womb, about her ovaries.
Well, the baby is not
uterus.
an organ of
No,
hers. A baby is an individual human being.
So you get to make choices about your internal organs, but a living, breathing woman does not.
Well,
okay, I understand.
No, I don't think you do understand, because I don't think you understand very well at all, unfortunately, because you're suggesting that the baby is an organ of the woman, which is preposterous, obviously. You know, the baby is differentiated from organs by its DNA, by how it will develop, by, I don't think she's listening to the rest of my answer. Matt! You know what that was like? That girl knows something so smart, which is, when I was a young man, a single guy, right, the best way that you could really, if you liked a girl and, you know, the girl was seeing some other guy, the best way you could needle the guy is by getting the guy's name right. You say, hey, you know, how's Mark doing these days? Oh, actually, his name is Mike. Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay. Real nice. It's not Smokey Matt, not Smokey Ben, not Smokey Candace.
Man, these leftoids are crazy. And look, when I say this, I don't mean the center left. I don't mean the old school Democrat. I see you guys in the comment section. I know y'all ain't down with this either. I mean the radical left. The super woke left. Not you guys down the middle, man, that don't mess with what's going on with the children right now and all this stuff. And not the more libertarian type. I'm really talking about the far left. The wokies, as we like to call them. And to paraphrase a phrase from And to paraphrase Andre Lord here, the master's tools cannot disassemble to disable the master's house. What's meant by that is that the master's tools are reason and science, like enlightenment values, really. And these woke leftists, they think that everything has to do with ideology, racism, misogyny, homophobia, sexism. They don't want to hear logic, they don't want to hear science, they don't want to hear reason. And that's why a lot of these activists are so freaking unreasonable, because they don't freaking believe in logic or reason. How many times do we watch these videos? We see they either bail out and rage quit like this girl, or they start yelling and screaming and calling people names. They don't want to have the conversation. And once you start having the conversation, what they'll tell you is like, oh, well, that's hate speech. And they try to deplatform people, because they believe that speech in itself in some like intrinsic way elevates the problem. Personally, I think that 2024, especially come the American election, it's going to be a big wake-up call for these radical leftists. That's my opinion anyway. I could totally be wrong here. But I think we're moving in a direction that a lot of people, even some people more left-leaning, I mean, look how many times Joe Rogan talks about this stuff now, and he was, you know, more libertarian guy, maybe center-left, and he speaks out about all this stuff all the time now. The people on their side have also had enough with all this crazy ideology that they've been spewing, and I think it's completely absurd that we have, like I said earlier, these people that can just go up there and be upset that you don't want to end a human life. The women will say, well, you don't have a say as a man, it's my body, my choice, as if your argument is less valid based on your sex. That's another absurd one. I don't want to see anybody have their life ended. I love my fellow humans, man. I don't want to see anybody have their life ended. Even these crazy woke leftists, I don't wish death upon them. I wish reason and understanding, but I definitely don't wish any harm to come to them. I was once a fetus, and so are all of you, and I enjoy my life. And I would like for all my fellow unborn humans to be born. The amount of abortions reaching into millions is insane. What is it, 1 in 3, 1 in 4 women are now having abortions? That's a number they roll with. 33% of women have abortions. 1 in 3. Tell me that is not an insane number. Hope you enjoyed this video. Well, that'll be it for me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing to the channel, help it grow, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out, everybody.